The last two videos taught you how to use silence. This one is for when someone is using it on you. One viewer described exactly this after the first video. A partner who goes completely cold the moment there's conflict. Not to protect themselves, but to make her chase, apologize, and explain herself back into their good graces. That's not self-protection. That's a weapon. If you've ever been on the receiving end of the exact tactic I described in the first video, silence, no explanation, total withdrawal, and felt confused about whether the other person is being strong or being cruel, you're not imagining it. There's a real difference, and almost nobody teaches you how to spot it from the outside. Here's the question this video actually answers. How do you tell strategic silence from someone using silence as leverage over you? Because Machiavelli didn't just write about wielding power. He wrote just as much about recognizing when it's being used against you. And that's the half everyone skips. The distinction is simple once you see it. Silence used for protection serves the person holding it. It buys them time, distance, or clarity. Silence used as leverage serves a different purpose entirely. It's designed to control your behavior. Same tactic, opposite target. And the tell isn't in how calm the other person looks. It's in what happens right after you push back. Watch what happens the moment you set a boundary in this kind of relationship. If someone goes colder specifically after you assert yourself, after you say no, or ask a direct question, or bring up something that bothers you, that's not coincidence. That's timing. Real strategic silence isn't triggered by your boundaries. Weaponized silence almost always is. Here's the part that traps most people. The instinct to fix it. You start over-explaining. You apologize for things that weren't your fault to begin with. You chase an explanation you're never going to get. Because the silence was never meant to be resolved. It was meant to make you work for reconnection. That chase is the entire mechanism. Every time you close the distance by explaining yourself, you're rewarding the exact behavior that's controlling you. Machiavelli understood this dynamic from the other side of the table. The prince who withholds access isn't just protecting himself. He's often training the court to compete for his attention. Robert Greene wrote about the same principle directly. Whoever needs the relationship less holds the power. Weaponized silence works because it manufactures exactly that imbalance, on purpose. This is where calculated risk comes in for you as the target. Recognizing the pattern is only useful if you're willing to act on what you see, instead of explaining it away because the person usually treats you well. So what actually breaks the pattern? Not silence back. That just turns it into a standoff neither of you wins. The real move is refusing to enter the chase and explain cycle at all, and naming the pattern plainly instead. Not, "Why are you doing this to me?" which still centers their reaction. Something closer to, "I notice this happens right after I bring something up. I'm not going to chase it this time." That single sentence removes the leverage, because the tactic only works if you keep supplying the effort. This costs something either way. Staying in the pattern costs you your own read on reality. You start doubting whether your boundaries are even reasonable, because every time you assert one, you get punished with distance. But naming it plainly costs something too. The relationship might not survive. Someone losing a tactic that's been working on you for a long time. That's not a reason to keep tolerating. It's just the honest price of the alternative. And it's the same price Machiavelli's prince pays whenever he stops rewarding manipulation in his own court. Some people only stay loyal, but the manipulation still works. So here's what changes for you now. Stop asking whether their silence means they're hurt, or busy, or thinking. Start watching the timing. Does it follow your boundaries specifically? If it does, you're not dealing with self-protection. You're dealing with leverage, and the way out isn't more explaining. It's less. There's a harder version of this same problem some of you brought up. Situations where staying silent isn't just uncomfortable, it's actually risky. Where false accusations or reputational damage mean silence lets real harm compound. That's exactly where the next video goes. When you legally and reputationally cannot afford to stay quiet, no matter what strategy says.